hitting the live button.
Okay.
Awesome.
Hey, 1 2 1 2. What is going on, people? What's cracking? What's popping? You might not recognize my voice because my man Tony has been holding it down with the intros and running the show. But you know, I decided to. This is your boy Marcus Kwame. I decided to come hold it down for the opening of this episode. But as always, we got the Black Comics Chat crew up here. We got the treacherous trio, which I'll introduce first before our very special guest. You know, first up we have. It's good to have him back. You know, it's been a minute since you've been on, man. We got the homie T Legit is in the house, the loneliest legend. What's going on, man?
Hey, yo, what's up, Black Comic Chat fam? It's always good to be back, man. It's like a family reunion whenever I'm on the spot. And my goal is to make it through the week without getting the cops called on me by a white person.
You look like you're in a public space right there, though. I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what you're doing with those headphones.
I was about to go in Starbucks, but I don't want to risk it.
You know, you got your Eagles outfits very coordinated. That could be construed as gang.
I didn't know that was all. Let me switch the camera off, dog. My bad.
Oh, my bad. All right. Yo, Tony, what if you didn't know you were on all episode and you started like picking your nose and stuff? Anyway,
yeah, dude, we would have to do a cut.
Anyway, I'm glad I could have helped you out with that. But yeah, Thelonious, man, it's good to have you back. And absolutely, man, don't get arrested. Don't get arrested. I'm at home, so I think I have a much smaller chance of being arrested. But you never know.
Yeah, you can't be too careful, brother.
Quick on the telephone.
So my call, please. Like, I saw a black man in his own home.
Yep.
It only works when you're a white woman,
though. Yeah.
And you have to cry at the end of the video.
Yeah. Anyone listening to this in the future, basically, there's just been a rash of just nonsensical calling the police on black people for basically breathing in public this week. So that I'm not that that's a rare occurrence in general, but it's really seemed to have been in the news this week. Anyway, though, we can get into that and many more things. But for now, I'm going to slide on over to our other, super special Black Comic Chat homie. We got, author Red Lion.
What up, y'all?
Snarkmonger. We got the homie Tony Snark in the house.
What's going on, yo? What's going on?
Yo.
I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of bummed out right now. Like literally, I just found out that Fox canceled one of my favorite TV shows.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Actually, no, The Exorcist.
Else?
Oh, I'm so.
Oh,
upset.
I hadn't even caught that.
Oh my god, they just canceled The Exorcist. Which
I guess I'm part of the problem.
Yes, let's blame you. but other than that, I'm all good. Let's get to the guest.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I'm sure if you've been anywhere near the internet over the past year or so, you've probably heard of Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. But we have the man behind that, also an actor, just writer in general. We got David Crownson with us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No, welcome to the show. We always like to start every episode by getting into the origin story of our guest. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to the medium of comics, both as a reader and as a writer?
Yeah, man. I'm born and raised from New Jersey, and my dad got me into comic books when DC decided to kill off Superman. Because they ran out of stories, probably. And
I remember that time, and yes, they did.
Yeah, so it was like all over the news, like they actually killed a real person, and it was like all over CNN. It's like Superman died, and the trade paperback came out. My dad bought it, wanted to buy it, and he gave it to me, and he just said like, "Hold on to this; it's going to be worth like a lot of money one day." And my silly ass just started reading it. and I really enjoyed it, man. Like I loved the art, and it was the first ever comic book that I read, and it was my first introduction to Superman. So and I had no idea he was gonna die. Like usually growing up, I was like 6 and I watched a bunch of Disney movies, and I'm like, oh, the guy didn't make it at the end. I'm like, what? That happens in comics? And then 3 months later, Batman gets his back broken. Fighting Bane. And I'm like, what is going on in comics? Oh no! Oh no! What's happening to the world? Oh no! What's gonna, like, Wonder Woman's gonna, like, trip down some stairs or some shit, or like get caught up in her lasso, something. But I didn't know what was happening in comics. But yeah, like, that's what got me into comics as a fan, and from there, got into Spider-Man and Daredevil and X-Men, and that was like a big time. I grew up around the '90s era. Yeah, man, and spent my entire life up until where I'm at now in my 30s reading comics, and then got inspired to do this comic. What on a trip to Africa, of all places. The beautiful, awesome, that is not a shithole, Africa, by the way.
Of course.
It's not a shithole.
So sad that we got to clarify that, but we do. So, yeah. What's funny? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, you go ahead. I'm good.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, as you were kind of recounting your origin story and coming in at that moment when, Superman was dying and Bruce got his back broken. It just reminded me of being a little kid, and my entry point, I've talked about it before, was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and then I started reading Spider-Man comics, which were decidedly more real, like and like you had all types of
death. The dude had acne.
Yeah, he had that, but it's like people were, the '80s Spider-Man was no joke, man. People were dying and all types of stuff, types of grown-up.
And he was broke. He was
always broke.
Yeah, he had issues, but it just reminds me. It's like that. I think we're little kids and we get introduced to these characters, maybe through Super Friends or through something like Spider-Man His Amazing Friends, and then you start reading the comics and you're like, oh snap, like it's going down. But anyway, So okay, so yeah, we'll like really get into the comic soon, but I wanted to just moving forward, like, what books were you reading, or with those books that you were reading, like, was there a particular creator or storyline that like really grabbed you?
Yeah, man, Brian Michael Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man run got me hooked, and I bought every single issue for up until I think 2013, 2014. So I was buying everything that Brian Michael Bendis was writing. I loved his dialogue. I loved how he made every character grounded, and also his Daredevil comics. That stuff was awesome.
Joints.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. Those were like, don't sleep on his Daredevil joint. That was awesome too. And I think Jeff Loeb, when all of his Batman, I think I respect and love Scott Snyder, but Jeff Loeb is, in my opinion, one of the best Batman writers. Like, I read his Hush, his Long Halloween, and Dark Victory. Also, Frank Miller too. Frank Miller, we can throw Frank Miller up there with Year One and Dark Knight Returns. So
I like how you got the era of Frank Miller in particular.
Yeah, man. Like those were the books I read the most, and was the only black kid getting all the comics in my school, or like the only black kid who openly got the comics.
Yeah, we existed.
People would, I think, I don't know what it was, but like everyone was all like, everyone really wanted to be hood, everyone really wanted to be down, and I think some kids were making fun of me because I asked me, like, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I said, oh, I'm going to go see Spider-Man again, because I'm like hyped as shit to see Spider-Man. And everyone was kind of like laughing and like making fun of me. And then, the movie came out and made over $100 million. And when I went to go see it, I think these dudes were trying to front and say they were going to go see Next Friday, which is a hilarious, amazing movie. But they were in the movie theater with me watching Spider-Man. I'm like, yo, being a nerd is cool. It's dope. Some cool ass storytelling happening.
I think that nerd term has expanded to include a bunch of others that probably wouldn't be categorized as nerd back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's just people. You know what I mean? But it's like it's a culture now, and there used to be this very stereotypical image of what a nerd would be, but it's not.
Yeah, Urkel.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so
Urkel but like people were dissing Urkel. Yeah, everyone can talk shit about Urkel, but Myra was fine as hell. All right, Myra was like the real ride or die. She was obsessed with his ass. She wanted him so badly. I was like, Laura, you're crazy. You don't know what you're missing. Like, ooh,
what though? In hindsight, man, I mean, everything you're saying just kind of underscores that I think Steve Urkel was kind of problematic. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and then he had a woman that was ride or die for him, and I don't know, man. I think the problem is with Steve.
Wait, say again?
I think the problem is with Steve. Like,
right.
Laura let him know that it wasn't popping, and he just kind of he wouldn't stop.
Oh yeah, no, he was obsessed with her, and then Myra came, and then he was like, oh, I think I like this woman now. And then I forgot what happened in the last 2 years of the season, but now
I think we all did. I don't remember the end of the show.
I don't remember. All I remember is Steve and Laura are married now, and I'm like, what? I'm like, why?
Wait, is that how it ended? I literally don't remember that.
That's how it ended. It ended with Steve and Laura getting married at in Disney World because ABC.
Because ABC.
Yeah. So it is what it is.
Yeah. For anyone just joining us, you have tuned into Family Matters Chat.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Yeah, just in case you catch that last episode. All right. So okay. So definitely you had. So let's speak a little bit before we get into the book about you. I know you have a background in acting as well. Can you speak a little bit about that and how the origins of that?
Yeah, man, I was always into acting and performing. I wasn't sure if I was going to be a writer or an actor or a director. For me, I just really enjoyed the craft of storytelling on all fronts. I thought I was going to be a cartoonist because I would also get the newspaper strips and read the Family Circus and read Curtis and Boondocks, and just read that whole entire Sunday news strip. But I got made fun of for my drawings being shitty, so I got afraid. So I discovered acting because they had a little drama class in my school, and was still afraid of doing it because I was nerdy. I got picked on and made fun of a lot, and we had to do our plays in front of the whole school, and I was terrified of doing it. And then my dad got sick and my father passed away, and I realized life is short and we only get one chance at this. So I let go of that and tried out for a performing arts high school and got accepted into this performing arts high school, Somerset Tech, and did that for 2 years, and I loved it, man. Went to school, went to college for acting and minored in screenwriting, and then did a 2-year conservatory at Neighborhood Playhouse School of Theater, and was consistently doing theater for about 7-8 years, and then trying out for TV and film. And then had 3 big auditions a couple years back. This is leading into Harriet, Tubman Demon Slayer. Yeah, because I had 3 big auditions. And it was a really stressful time, and I was living in New York, and didn't get any of them, and was just killing myself. And my mom told me, she said, "Hey, if you don't get any of these auditions, I think you need to take a break from New York City. I think you need to take a break from America. I think you should come." My parents are originally from Ghana, West Africa. They said, "I think you should take a break and come live with us in Ghana and just kind of meditate, relax, get yourself grounded, get yourself focused again." And did that. And it was great, man. I think everyone should do it. Everyone, but if you ever have time or if you save money, go to Africa. Go to Ghana, West Africa. It is dope. It'll change your shit. I'm sorry, can I curse on this?
Yeah.
It's too late now.
Okay.
Well, since you started.
It will change your motherfucking shit. There, I said it.
Okay, let's not get carried away.
All right, so that was so as you mentioned, segue wise. So that experience, and would you say like the tranquility and the peace of mind brought you the clarity to create this project, or like how does that connect to Harriet?
Yes. Yeah, but so I at this time I'm still reading comics. I'm buying stacks of comics, and around this time they had introduced Miles Morales, and I love that entire run. I love that character, and this is before Sony, sharing the rights with Marvel. And it was announced that they said at the time they would never do a Miles Morales movie, and they said they would never do a Miles Morales live action or animated. They were just going to keep him in the comics for the next decade. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That's trash. And at this time, I was going to do like a fan fiction animated Miles Morales like short and put it on YouTube. And not collect any money from it, just do it just to do it. So I started a Kickstarter for it, and was going to get Phil Lamar, who does the voice of everybody.
Yeah,
He's the voice of everybody. Static Shock, Samurai Jack, Green Lantern, everybody. Great character actor on Mad TV. Spoke with him. I said, "Hey, I'm doing this short. I'm going to raise money on Kickstarter. Would you do the voice of Miles Morales?" He shockingly was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And I was like, shit, wasn't expecting him to say yes. So got him involved, and then was, speaking with Moy Animation. They do the animation for Young Justice in every single DC animated film. And I was really going hard, really going through this. Like, I wrote an entire script of what I was going to do. And then I think Sony decided to share the rights with Marvel, and then it was announced they were going to do a Miles Morales animated thing. And I was raising a good amount of money, and then I got this beautiful, nice message, cease and desist, from Disney, just saying like, "Hey, please don't do that shit, or we will send like the Mickey Mouse Club to fuck you up." And I said, "Got it, thank you." And I was talking to friends, and they just said, "You should just do your own original thing." I wasn't sure what I would do at the time.
But so didn't we see a Kickstarter with Static that I don't think was affiliated with anybody from the DC Milestone universe?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Marvel is just a little more hardcore than Warner Brothers.
Oh no, they are really hardcore about their
shit.
Like,
so Marvel's
gangster. Don't fuck with that mouse. Do not. That mouse will send Goofy and Donald Duck to fuck your world up. Shit. Yeah, I think even Marvel's the same way too with all of their properties. I think a guy had done a X-Men 32-bit animation with the 90s characters based off like the 90s animated show. And he was going to release it and have it be like a 12-part web series. And, you know, he wasn't making any money from it. And Fox and Marvel came and shut him down. And YouTube completely banned his entire channel. Like,
Wow.
Yeah, DC is kind of like, DC is a little bit chill. Like they're letting this Nightwing web series happen. They're letting this Batgirl web series happen, and they're letting a Red Hood web series. Like there's like a dozen Batman fan web series that you can find on YouTube.
The DCEU is probably taking notes. They're probably like, oh, you know,
oh hell yeah,
we should try that.
It's like, yeah, go ahead, good, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, good, this is some free shit. Thank you. So basically, I get that email saying I'm canceled, and I'm like, all right, and I'm like, that's fine. I still got Africa for another month, so I'm just chilling and watching TV, and this Harriet Tubman documentary came on, and I'm like, oh, you know, let me watch this and relearn everything about Harriet. And, you know, Harriet Tubman, her heritage, her family is from Ghana, where I was staying, so it was extra special. So I'm watching it, and it ends, and I'm channel surfing, and then Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was on this movie network, and it's the last part of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It's the fight scene with Michelle Yeoh and Zhang Zi, and they're having this like epic like katana fight scene. And I'm like, dope, I love this movie. I love this movie so damn much. Movie ends, and then Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters comes on. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to be all up in this movie. And the movie, I respect filmmakers. Making films is very hard, but I was not a fan of Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
I couldn't watch it. I had to tap out.
Yeah, it wasn't good, right?
Dude, I mean, I don't think anybody that was in the movie is listening to this podcast.
Oh yeah,
It's like, for demographic, Thelonious.
No, I don't want to sell myself short. So
I'm joking.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they are, and they hit me up in my DMs. I'll give you some pointers. Don't have to get into it right now, but yeah, I tapped out on Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, I mean, like it was like a fun concept. Like it seemed like it'd be a fun movie, but it was really bad. And I'm like,
it was dreary. It was bad. I was like, I mean, I think I watched like 20 minutes. And I think I went to do the kitchen or something. I was like, I got stuff to do, man.
Nah, man. I was stuck there for 2 hours, and because everything else that was on at the time, nothing was in. Unfortunately, I don't speak the native tongue in Ghana, so there was like 4 channels that were in English. So my ass was stuck with this movie. I'm like, all right, got to power through this shit. So watch it. It's not a good movie, unfortunately. So the following evening, I have a journal, and I'm journaling everything that I'm experiencing in Ghana, from leaving America on some Eat, Pray, Love, the black version of this shit.
I like that.
So, or my friends called it the broke Dave Chappelle version of this. So I'm writing down, my experiences, and watched the documentary of Harriet Tubman, last part of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, dope ass katana fight scene, and then Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters, and I'm writing. And it sounds weird, but it felt like it kind of. I looked back at the page, so I had a whole 2-page stream of consciousness of what I wrote, and it kind of just jumped at me a little bit, and I just saw Harriet Tubman, dope katana fight scene, and Witch Hunters, and then I just said Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, holy shit, and I wrote that down, Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. I scribbled it and I underlined it and circled it, and just thought of the imagery of Harriet Tubman, who is 4'11", and what if she knew martial arts and had superhuman strength and could just. And what if she fought like a giant werewolf and beat the fuck out of this werewolf? And we watch these slave movies where we're getting killed, we're getting whipped, and it's like freaking porn it's like torture porn.
Dude,
Like, what if instead of us getting whipped, like the slave, excuse me, like whooped someone's ass, you know, and there was no like, yeah, I whipped this slave master's ass, and we're out, we're leaving, and I thought of the whole concept and thought the whole log line of it being Django Unchained meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and started dreaming up the story. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was a comic book yet. I didn't know if it was a movie yet. I didn't know if it was a TV show. I had no idea what it was because I was working on other projects at the time as a screenwriter. And so I get back into America, and, you know, I told you, I love Brian Michael Bendis, right? And Brian Michael Bendis releases this how-to write comic books book. And I'm like, that's it. It, like, as soon as I got off the plane, they had it on sale at the airport store, and I bought that shit on the spot and read the whole book, and just about how to write comics and even how to break into comics, and just thought, okay, it's a comic book. And by this point, from the Miles Morales fanfic that I was going to do, I had befriended and made friends with a lot of people in the comic book industry who were doing me a big favor by just doing character designs for free, and messaged everybody, but everyone was kind of busy at the time. And found Cortland, who drew issue 1, found him on Facebook and just said, hey, I have this idea for a comic book. I love your work. He said, dope, what's your comic book? I said, it's called Harriet, Tubman, Demon Slayer. He's like, Negro, we're going to get in trouble. And I said, no, we got to do it. We have to do this. And told him about the cover. I said, I think the cover should be Harriet Tubman staring at us. And she should be really tense and firm and crossing katanas across her face. And in the reflection of the katana, there should be like demons, witches, werewolves, do whatever you want, go crazy with it. And he's like, dope. Here's my PayPal account, pay me, and I'll have it done in 2 weeks. And that's the cover of, you know, of issue 1. And at the time, still, I asked him, how much money do you charge per page? And he said $150. And I said, oh, I don't have that much money to do 30 pages of this first issue. And he told me I should do a Kickstarter. I was nervous and terrified about doing a Kickstarter or doing any type of crowdfunding, because at that time I had seen Kickstarters fail, and I was terrified of failing publicly. Like, you know, if I fail behind closed doors or something, I'm like, I don't care. Only I and God and 2 of my friends know about that failure. When you do a Kickstarter, you know, now it's the opportunity of having thousands of people know about a failure. So I was terrified of it. And so I was kind of procrastinating, and instead of going through crowdfunding, I was talking to investors instead about ghost funding the first issue. And then Trump became president, and I'm like, oh shit, the world's different now. And I got really angry and decided to do a Kickstarter. I don't know, I was like, fuck it. What's the worst that could happen? And we did a Kickstarter, and Kickstarter, thank God, made its money. And here we are.
Right?
Yeah. I think we were the first Kickstarter for a comic book during Christmas. Never do a Kickstarter in December, guys. Never do it. I found out later it's been told never ever do a Kickstarter in December, January, and February. Those are the worst times to launch a Kickstarter. But this was my first time. I kind of didn't know what I was doing at the time, because again, it's my first time doing one. So I just did it on inspiration and decided to operate and move from a point of view of inspiration, no fear, and not thinking about failure, just being focused on the end result, getting this money, and just not to get the money so I could pay my artist and properly fund the project. So yeah, the goal was 15,000, and we ended up going to 21,000, and yeah, I was very grateful. That's the story.
Cool. So let's talk about that. I mean, it's dope to hear about the genesis of it and how how it came to your mind. One question I had is, going into it, you mentioned your friend had been like, "We're gonna get in trouble." Like, was there any sense of the weight or responsibility that came with representing somebody who's such an important figure as Harriet Tubman, or did you just feel like creatively, I know the lane that I want to go in, and I'm gonna run with it?
It was a happy mixture of both of those. We did, when we first dropped the cover of issue 1, before we even did a Kickstarter, there was 2,000, there was like 5,000 people that loved it and thought it was dope, and they wanted to know what it was, because we just dropped it and didn't know what people would say. And I got a bunch of reactions, and it went viral. But there was like 200 people that were like, fuck this guy. Fuck David Crownson. This is irresponsible. How dare you do this to Harriet Tubman? And I got nervous because I've never had strangers talk shit about me. So I got really nervous, but I knew my intentions, and I knew what I was doing. And I knew that I wasn't doing anything disrespectful, because as far as the character of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, I was looking at actual biographies and doing research on her as a person and getting to know her. I mean, we all build her up, which she deserves to be, as a legend. But I thought, let me find out the nuances of her as a person, like what makes her grounded, and taking it from that point of view, that yes, again, a legend, but also, who is this person? Like that it takes a lot. Doing what she did, that's a horror movie in itself.
Yeah.
And that shit is scary. That is, like, there's a story where she's I think I forget which book I got it from, but there's a slave that was having a panic attack. She was leading this family to Canada to get jobs, and this guy had an absolute panic attack, because again, like, he's like, this was a mistake. What if we get caught? Like, they're gonna hang my family. They're gonna kill my family. Like, and this guy started hyperventilating, and Harriet had to kind of analyze him, and most people would try to run away and run back, but this guy was just having an absolute panic attack. And she put her hands on his shoulder, and was trying to tell him to breathe. And I don't remember what she said specifically, but she told a joke, and she made this guy laugh. And the guy started laughing, and he kind of forgot a little bit about the pressure and the intensity of what they were doing. And she was able to bring levity. And I'm like, that's a hero.
Yeah.
That's a hero. And because also up until then, in all my research, I had been hearing about this very serious person, this very one-note serious person, and I had never heard about her from the point of view of being loving and breathing levity and breathing hope. I'm like, oh, because she has to get people to follow her. She has to be a leader. And I don't know about you, but like, for me, the people that have been able to, that I've looked at as leaders, have been the people that are, chill, calm, confident, relaxed, but and human. And I'm like, and that's kind of what my hope was. I'm like, oh, like, Harriet Tubman had a sense of humor and was able to make you feel good by simply talking to you and make you feel good about yourself and help you see your own strength. I'm like, that's a hero. That's where I'm going to start from. And I'm going to take it from there. Yeah, it's cool, doing all that action and stuff, but that was my hook into doing it. And also, it's called Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, not Harriet Tubman like twerking on ice.
Right,
You
right.
know, like
Well, yeah.
some people. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying as you're describing that, like, you know, well, as you're relating that story, you know, about how she was able to calm, you know, that man down. It, I can see that. I can see that coming through in your book. You know, throughout the demon slaying and the katanas. Like, I think you did really capture, you know, the human being. So yeah, it's cool. I think you did find that balance, and I definitely would encourage anyone. I mean, obviously, a lot of people have read your book, and a lot of people pledged. But anyone who, you know, might be wondering, I don't think there's anything disrespectful. Matter of fact, one thing I like is beyond Harriet's character. Just there's a family in the first couple issues who's escaping, and I think they're definitely just presented as human beings. It's not just, you know, I mean, I think a lot of slave narratives that we've read, there's the torture porn that you mentioned, and I think that you know, I don't know, you don't necessarily get to see people as a family, and you get this sense of the weight of the situation that they were facing and everything, and the dangers, but at the same time they were people, and I think that comes through in their interactions with Harriet Tubman as well.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I did research. Those are actual slave names that I found in my research, and yeah, I wanted them to be people. I wanted them to be human beings, and we don't get to see, again. Yeah, you're right. We don't get to see family. We don't get to see people being that they're under this extreme overbearing circumstance of slavery, but this family was able to find love, and they were able to fall in love, and they have a child. So I wanted to have that, and I love the Edgefields. They're my favorites.
You know what I find interesting is that anybody would sort of complain about this, because, you know, the thing that I saw in my head when I saw the title, you know, Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer, was like, oh, that's sort of like, what was it? Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, whatever that was, which I didn't watch, but that's exactly what I thought of. And it was like, you know, if that could happen, sure, why not? Why can't Harriet Tubman be a demon slayer?
Right.
Excuse me, demon slayer.
Yeah, that's why I got, like, okay, so I saw like a lot of angry comments, and I was reading them, and I got kind of pissed because I'm like, yo, Abraham Lincoln's out here hunting vampires and hunting zombies. Like, no one's complaining and bitching. Like what's going on? So I'm like, if he can do it, Harriet for damn sure can slay some damn demons. And I mean no disrespect to the writer and creator of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I don't know the man, but he's an amazing creator. I haven't read the book or watched the movie, but I thought, like, I think it'd be a little bit more interesting to have Harriet leading slaves to freedom, and then, I don't know, a werewolf pops out and she's like, I got this shit, and pulls out katanas. I'm like, I want to see that shit. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter sounds cool. Maybe okay, fuck it, I'm being biased, damn it, because it's my book.
It's all good. You know, it's funny. I mean, first of all, I agree with both of y'all, and I'm glad that you, despite people's issues, went through and did it. But I do think that, like, when it comes to perception, one advantage that the character of the creators of the Abraham Lincoln movie have is that white people have representation. They have a lot of different figures. So in some ways, as much as Abraham Lincoln is like revered, like there's a certain sacred, untouchable status. Like I think a lot of times that we might have as Black people, because of the fact that like our heroes, number one, don't necessarily get their due by society. You know what I mean? And so I think people are very protective. I think that being said, though, like I think it's dope that you, despite all that, were able to just have fun but still not be disrespectful, you know, I mean, to Harriet Tubman. I think, and honestly, like, you know, who doesn't like seeing some overseers and slave owners getting chopped down or portrayed as demons? So, you know.
Yes. Yes. No,
well, I know some people who don't
think,
like it, but that's not your audience.
Oh yeah, no. The people that are like, hey, how dare you draw slave owners as vampires and demons? That's disrespectful. No, they're not my target audience. But at the time when I was writing it, this is before Underground season 2 had come out. I think this is even before Underground had even come out. So, you know, Harriet Tubman is featured heavily on season 2 of Underground, and I thought about it. I'm like, oh, there hasn't been a Harriet Tubman biography movie. I think there was like one TV movie that you can catch that's like from the 80s, but it was like a straight to. They have it on WGN, or they have it on BET every, like, they play it on Black History Month at 11 o'clock at night. But like, or I think there was like even there was an animated like biography, but there was really nothing about Harriet. And even when it came to doing research, you know, there's three legit biography books about Harriet that are about her as a person, and the rest was the rest was either in children's books, or I think she was featured in, or she would be featured in a book about slavery and the Underground Railroad and escaping, being a runaway slave. So when people were outraged, and also at this time, this was news to me. I found this out only last year. Russell Simmons had, as a joke, made like a porn about Harriet Tubman.
Now that wasn't funny. I remember that.
Yeah, and I didn't know about that, now, because before, when people got angry and mad at me, I thought, oh, y'all overreacting. What's going? But then I'm like, oh, okay, because this has happened.
You know, that's interesting. Yeah, you might have been getting some residual. You know what I mean? Like, it might have, in some people's minds, it might have occupied a similar space, despite the fact that it was different.
Yeah. So, yeah, taking a moment to see it from someone else's point of view and seeing the world from their eyes, and oh, and like what you said before, this woman hasn't been represented properly or depicted properly. You know, there has been like a Harriet movie, the same as there's been like a Malcolm X movie or an Ali movie or a Selma movie. So I had to take that moment and not get angry or get defensive and be like, okay, hey, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm treating this with, it's 50-50. I'm going to have fun with it, but I'm also going to do research and find out who this person is beyond the fact that she is a legend, because what I'm writing, Harriet Tubman doesn't know that she's Harriet Tubman yet. To her, you know, she's Harriet, and she got this prophecy, and she feels this is the right thing to do, and she's the right person to do it, because we deserve equality. We deserve to be just as happy and wealthy as someone who is white, and we shouldn't get murdered, raped, and hung and beaten alive, or burnt alive. Sorry, I've read some ugly stuff in my research.
I'm with you. Yeah,
you know, so yeah, just again taking it from that point of view and keeping it grounded, and doing research. You know, so it's 50% bio and 50% fan fiction.
Yeah. That's what's up. And I think you said something important there in that you know, you mentioned you had a variety of reactions, you know, largely positive and some negative, and that you didn't get defensive, and you kind of like let people know you heard their concerns, and then you know you spoke about like your plan of how you were going to approach the project. And I think I see some situations, like, you know, obviously as a creative person myself, I get it. You know, sometimes you're putting your heart and soul into something and people have their hot takes, and you know it might make us, you know, it definitely can evoke some feelings. But I think a lot of times you see situations where creators, they go to 11 like immediately when they hear critiques, you know what I mean? And so I think that ability to hear people and then just like speak to them, you know, it's important, you know, because sometimes people's concerns are founded. Sometimes, you know, they might not get what you're doing, but I think it's important to be able to have a dialogue without freaking out.
Yeah, like we have this blessing and also a curse of the internet. You know, now we can connect with people that we're huge fans of in an intimate way that we couldn't, like 12, 15 years ago, we couldn't do that. And, you know, I think before I got like, sometimes you'll get people who are angry and you have to take a breath and see it from their point of view and then explain what you're trying to do and present it in a calm and compassionate way. And like there was one guy that was cursing me out one time, and he was really angry and really irate about my book. And, you know, I explained the same thing I explained to you. And I said, hey, the book is out. Take a chance to buy it. It's $3. You can see what I did and you be the judge. And, you know, and he read it and he was like, oh, okay, I enjoyed that. That was fun. And that was actually good. And I said, okay, cool. Or I've had the opposite happen where some people just want to fight. Some people just want to be aggressive for, I don't know what reasons. Maybe they want attention, or maybe they mama didn't love them enough. I don't know. But I think one guy was just being irate and wasn't taking in anything I was saying, you know, but I was still kind of saying like, hey, this is what I'm planning to do. This is what I have done. These are my sources of research, and I plan on traveling at some point to see where she walked and what she did. And then the guy was like, well, fuck you, fuck this book, fuck you. And I'm like, all right. Now you just troll it. So yeah.
You know, I always find it fascinating that people want to sort of talk without reading. It's like when you post an article on Facebook and you only judge it by the title, you know, and you're just like, well, did you read it? Well, no, I didn't read it. And a quick note, something unrelated, but, you know, there's this article that's going around on Twitter about, you know, white woman tears. And the person who wrote it was talking about how, you know, white women sometimes use tears to sort of victim shame or to be victimized themselves in certain situations, blaming, you know, like either black women or black men. And the author was getting these responses. And she asked him, well, did you read the article? And then this one woman was like, well, no. And I'm like, well, then what are you doing? You know, if you read the article, you understand what she's saying rather than just going off the title. So it's just, I find that to be interesting that there's a certain population of people that will just not read and just go off a title. It's disturbing.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yes.
It's like, yo, take in all the information and then get mad or get something. Don't just like,
or at least have, you know,
I don't know what it is.
Right, or at least have a critical, you know, argument or think critically about whatever it is that you're mad about, rather than just being mad for the sake of being mad. I totally understand. Exactly. So, pivoting, can you talk about like sort of your writing style? Like, you know, with all the research that you pull together in the book and then you sort of, you know, regurgitate it back out in story format. How does that really work with your writing style?
Okay, so with me, I need to find. I'm also an actor. For me, I gotta find what is something quirky about characters I play and also characters I write. And I believe that comic books are fun, and comic books, graphic novels, it should be very much specific and clear and to the point and engaging, and should be consistently moving. And the stakes should either be high or there should be some interesting and funny dialogue to read. And my artist will take care of everything else, and I'll trust their talent to do that. As far as research goes, when I had the book and I had the story, I knew contextually what it was going to be. But with research, I was thinking of the characters' names, and I'm like, and then I just Googled names of slaves, 1800s, 1700s, and there was a manifest of a bunch of names that came up, and I picked the ones that I felt that resonated with me and how I visually saw my characters. And then also another thing that was really difficult about this was slang and dialogue, because I think up until then everything I've written has been very contemporary. So finding out what people say, and also not throwing in weird 2017, 2018 dialogue in there. So I think I also got a page up about slang and what people would say in the 1800s North Carolina and also 1800s South Carolina. What else? And I think I'll touch on it on a different issue, but also finding out what people wear. When I was writing this, Cortland wanted to know, like, hey, like, can you send me pictures of clothing that you saw that your characters wear? So that was I think before anything was even drawn, me and Cortland did about 2 months of extensive research on clothing and how it would fit around everyone else. And also, again, we're doing like action and fight sequences on the comic page, and Cortland was super detailed oriented, which I love and appreciate about him. It was about a 2-month process of finding a cloak that Harriet wears, and then there's a jacket that she wore, and just 2 months of me sending him stuff. He would draw it, send it back. I would say cool, and then we would find something else that we thought was cool and would work in a later issue, and we would just go back and forth, like what did these pants look like? This head wrap that she is known for wearing. We've only seen that famous head wrap that she wears from from the front. We've never seen it from the side in a profile. We've never seen it from the back. But I loved that visual, and Cortland found a way of drawing it where she almost, to me, looked like a ninja in a way. Mm-hmm. And I think we looked at we also looked at because for me, I just need to be inspired, and I want the people that are drawing, working not for me, but working with me to bring this creation, because it starts in my head, but then it's now Cortland. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is now Cortland's, and now it's Joey Vasquez, and now it's John Brogula, and now it's our thing. So finding a way to keep all those different artists inspired, and keep myself inspired. I think we looked at video games too for inspiration. Oh man, I'm blanking on the video game that we looked at for inspiration. they made a movie out of it recently. It was with shit, the dude who plays Magneto in the X-Men movies.
Oh, Michael Fassbender.
Yeah, Michael Fassbender. It's a video game it's based on a video game. We looked at that as a reference, as well. So yeah. And no, we didn't look at Michonne as a reference.
Actually, that comparison hadn't even crossed my mind.
Yeah, so people thought they said, "Hey, this looks a lot like Walking Dead," and I was like, "Shit." I'm like, "No, we didn't even look at Michonne. We looked at history and video games."
You know, I don't think that it looks like Michonne at all. I didn't even get that.
Thank
that,
you.
That feel at all.
You know what it is? It's like the black woman with swords Highlander. It's like there can only be one in some people's minds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was exactly it. People were like, "Oh, this is like Walking Dead." I'm like, no, it's not like Walking Dead.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, you're walking a totally separate path. But so you mentioned a few artists on the project. It's interesting because like as I'm reading it, like everything flows. Like, you know, sometimes you'll read a series and the artist will change, and it's kind of jarring, the difference, you know. But I think so. If I'm not mistaken, so who drew issue 1 and who drew issue 2?
Issue 1 was drawn by Cortland Ellis, and you know he was with me from day one. He was with me on it, and I think when I first was doing it, I said to Cortland, "Okay, there's going to be 13 issues of Harriet, Tubman, Demon Slayer." I had this whole 13 issue plan, and I had it all structured and outlined. And I was like, "All right, Cortland, you're doing all 13 of these issues." And life happened. Cortland got married, and his amazing, beautiful wife got pregnant with their amazing, now beautiful child. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be a little bit busy." And, you know, Cortland has a full-time job, you know, doing animation as well. So I'm like, okay, I got it. And I'll have someone else do issue 2, and then you can maybe come back for issue 3, maybe. And then he was still too busy to do issue 3. So during the Kickstarter, you know, I connected with Joey, who does amazing work for Marvel. You know, he's done the X-Men Blue comics, and he's done a few other promo art for Marvel as well. And I think even done I think he did an Invincible cover too. And just his stuff just looked top notch. And I Instagram messaged him and said, "Hey, I love your work. You want to do this comic?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And it was as easy as that. So it was a really interesting process because, you know, for the past 7-8 months, I've been working with Cortland heavily on this. And then for issue 2, it was like starting from square one because I had to recreate these characters with someone else who has a totally different style from Cortland, which is like I love them both equally. Like it's apples and oranges. So, and I think also issue 1, Cortland was finishing. I think he was inking issue 1 while Joey was drawing like page 2. And so it was kind of like there had to be a consistency. So I think when Cortland was done with inking, I said, "Hey, can you send me a PDF so I can give it to Joey so he can see and kind of like embody the essence of what you did?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, cool." And they were all great. They were great with communicating with each other, and keeping the continuity in essence of who these characters are. Yeah, and like it was really fun. I thought it was going to be really stressful, but I had a lot of fun, and it was a really cool, creative, communicative time. And you know, issue 3, now you know they're both crazy busy. Issue 3 is going to be Anthony Piper, who's done the Invincible Iron Man comics.
Yeah.
I think he also does Domino, and
And Trill League.
and yeah, and Trill League, so and they're all different. They all have a way of working. I think Cortland is very detail oriented. Like, we break everything down in detail, and Cortland takes his time, very process oriented. Joey is just what's the height of the characters? How tall are they in relation to each other? And I'll give him that. And issue 2 is very action packed, and he finished issue 2 really fast. Joey's extremely fast. I think even the cover, he did the cover of issue 2 in a weekend. He did it on New Year's. He started it on December 31st, and he was done by New Year's Day. Wow. Like it was nothing. I'm like, damn, this boy fast, and yeah, it's been really fun and interesting just to see how people take what's in your head and they see it a different way. Like, there are things that I write down in the script when I email it that they'll say, hey, I can't do it like the way you said, but I'll do it better. They don't say that, but they elevate the material. Like, everyone has elevated stuff that I've written, and I also encourage it, because I don't know everything. I'm not some storytelling god, Like, this is a team effort, and I don't like dictatorships. I don't like putting a gun and saying, like, you're doing this shit, or you're fucking fired. I always say, hey, if you feel like going another way, tell me about it, or just do it, because they might not explain it in a way that I can visually see it, but they'll draw the fuck out of that shit, and I'll be like, damn, this is better than what I wrote. Thank you for doing that. This shit is dope. So yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that recently, how comics, the relationship between writers and artists, and how obviously both are equally important, but there's always that there's the different processes on every project, but I think the more you can find that medium of trusting the artist, trusting the writer, and the writer trusting the artist, the better.
Yeah, and like you all need. The name of the video game that we took inspiration from was Assassin's Creed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was just looking it up just now. I was like, what the hell was the name? We looked at all of the different time zones I was like, oh, it was Assassin's Creed. I'm like, there. Yeah, no, it's important to build that trust and to build those relationships, because these people, we're doing 13 more of these books, and we're gonna all be living together, for the next year of our lives, and we're all gonna be emailing each other and working together to create this. And I don't make claims of, I'm like, oh, this is mine. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer is mine and mine alone. I'm like, no, like I can't draw. You can. And why wouldn't I want to, thankfully everyone is super humble and super nice, which makes it a lot easier. No one has an ego. No one is difficult. And if they disagree, they say, hey, I want to do this instead. Like, I think there was a line in issue 1 that Cortland didn't like, and most creators, and he said, hey, I'm not comfortable with this line. And he wasn't doing it for his own ego or for his own selfish needs. He was kind of like saying, oh, like, this is great, but this could be greater, and I didn't get offended. I said, okay, like, what do you think it should be? Like, well, what is it? He's just like, God, like, this line just, I don't know, I think it was, I forget which line it was. No, actually, there was 2 lines he wasn't comfortable with, and he didn't like it. It upset, to him, from his point of view as an artist, it upset the flow of the book. So I kind of put it in his core. I said, okay, man, We are creators, we are collaborators. What would you say in this moment as a human from your heart? And he told me what he would say, and I'm like, all right, we'll put it in. And that was that. You know, like, when it's like basketball, you gotta throw this ball around. You know, this is a motherfucking team effort. This isn't about me. It's not about him. It's about us. And we serve one master. The master's name is Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. It's not David Crownson. It's not Cortland Ellis. Joey Vasquez, John Brovila, Brett Person, Anthony Piper, Ophelia Richardson. No, this is about all us coming together and serving a greater good. So we are on some Avengers shit.
Did you just mention Afua Richardson?
Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to let that slip. But yeah, Sophia Richardson's doing a cover.
Okay, my bad. I didn't want to.
No, it's okay. It's
you
okay.
said it.
No, I said that shit. Sorry, Sophia Richardson. No, I wanted her to do. I wanted her to do one of the issues, but I think her schedule is getting really crazy. So I said, all right, in the summertime, could you do a cover for us? And she's like, yeah, sure, cool. And I was like, all right, dope. I'll talk to you in July. And then that's that. So that's happening at some point. So yeah, it's a lot of cool people and us just coming together and making something that people we hope will like. But also, when you make anything, you have to like it first. Like, this has to be, I tell them, like, yo, like, make a book you would read. Don't make something like for my, like, silly ass, like I wrote this at 2 a.m. in my room, or I wrote this randomly, but now it's yours, and this is your responsibility as a creator, as a co-creator with me in this, to make something of it. And if you're lost or stuck, they never get lost or stuck because they're all fucking talented. I'm like, talk to me about it, you know. So, and it feels like Christmas whenever they draw something and they email it to me or they text it to me. You know, I feel like a child on Christmas. I'm like, oh shit, this is so awesome and dope. So yeah, it's a cool time.
Definitely. So yeah, so we're just about the point where we usually switch over to the chat portion of the show. We kind of get into, like, you know, what's been going on in the comics world.
But before we do that, I do have one final question.
Yeah. What's up?
Yes.
Just being that, you know, you've chosen sort of Demon Slayer as the moniker, and demons are the ones that you kill. Do you, at any way, or during your writing process, have felt, and I will say stuck for lack of a better word, stuck with the time frame? You know what I mean? Usually, you know, you write stories either in the future where there's this technology, but you're in the past. So do you find like that you get stuck sometimes because you're in the past, because there's no cell phones, or, you know, there's no phones? You know, was that a difficulty? Did you have difficulty with that at all?
I mean, whenever that would happen, I would take a moment and Google became my best friend on this, and overdue library books became my best friend on this. Like, finding ways of communicating and when what she did to communicate with people, and because like she can't tweet some shit. So I think that there was one. I'm probably gonna put it in one of the issues where she would mark up a tree, and she would tell people, "Hey, I'm marking up this tree. It is north 15 meters of this lake." And what's crazy is everyone knows about this specific lake. You know, like, my ass gets lost and has to turn on my damn GPS all the damn time. But I think she would get familiar with the town and the area. And whenever she had a mission, yeah, whenever I feel stuck, I just I Google it,
So
get a book.
no hashtag wade in the water.
Yeah.
No. No hashtag. No, I do find I have. Well, to me, I think it's fun. I have found fun things from the future of our future to put in the in the past, because hey, some shit it can be relevant, especially with what we're dealing with now. But I think there were. I thought this was fun. In issue 1, where she's killing all the vampires. Hey, spoiler alert! Everybody who hasn't read Harriet, Tubman, Demon Slayer.
I think it's in
thought
the
it was
title.
fun.
It's in the title.
Cool. She kills this one vampire whose name is Roger, and I grew up watching Sister, and they always say "Go home, Roger." So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put a '90s reference in this shit. That's right.
No.
So I put it in there. I'm like, it's fun.
That
Makes me wonder if you're gonna put like "Bye Felicia." No, that'd be hilarious.
No, I'm not gonna put "Bye Felicia."
Okay, good. Okay, so yes, we're gonna move along to the next portion of our chat, where we talk about certain topics, and I think the big thing there are many big things that people are talking about this week. But what we want to talk about is Childish Gambino and This Is America. Have you seen the video? Have you heard the song? What are your thoughts?
Oh, damn. Have I heard this song? Yo, I have watched that music video. I'm writing an independent paper on this.
Wow.
On this video. Yes, I have heard of this Childish Gambino. This Is America.
First of all, let's talk about how he dropped this on the fly. He was on SNL, by the way, on Saturday, and he performed the song, and then it magically appeared on everywhere, and it has become this overnight sensation. And then of course he's at the solo world premiere. It's almost as like he can't really do anything wrong at the moment. Stay at the moment. I'm not one of these hero worshiping type of people. But I think it really speaks to where we are, and I think our anti-Kanye assessment world that we are at the moment. He falls right into that.
Yes.
Marcus, what are your thoughts?
That.
Oh, I mean, first of all, as the video opens, it's like, I'm watching it, and I'm watching how it progresses, and very quickly it turns into something very different than what I don't even know what I expected.
Right.
Right.
And the idea of him literally embodying America, I was just like, wow. And the way that he embodied it, because I mean, it's interesting, depending on who you speak to, America is quote unquote the American dream, or it's all these flowery things, but then for a lot of us who have been on the receiving end, or whose people have historically been on the receiving end of the really violent side of America, you can relate to this, and I'm just watching it, and I think that the whole progression, from start to finish, ending, culminating in that scene of just him running with that look of sheer terror, to me that spoke a lot to the fact that it's we can, to a certain extent, try to, you can have your entertainers who rise to these quote unquote larger than life levels, but at the end of the day, you're always one bad run-in away from terror. And it's funny because it's well, not funny, but this is coming right on the heels of the Kanye week from last week. And I've been saying throughout that Kanye he can say whatever he wants about kind of Bill Cosbying on black people and saying that we're, you know, making too many excuses or whatever he's narrative he's trying to put out there. But he's like one bad run-in with the police from being right back to like, oh man, you know, like this is what's happening, and you know, we're getting beat down, and like it's not equal, you know. So it's funny because it's like I feel like I don't even want to get too deep into Kanye, but it's like we're at this moment where, you know, you can gain status or whatever and kind of be removed from the everyday people and sort of like feel like I don't know, just lose sight of the bigger picture of what America has been and can be, you know. But you're always one step away from being brought back to that reality.
Absolutely. So, and I think what it is with Kanye is that he followed the American dream. Let's just put it right there. He got everything that he wanted. He got the woman with 2.5 kids. You know what I mean? He got money coming out of every orifice. And he's creating all types of crap, you know, whether it be music or clothing or whatever he's doing. And he's detached himself, quite frankly, from the community, you know, and he's now saying whatever he feels. And it's a shame, because I do feel that he definitely looks like the part of a run-in could happen at any point. However, what I do believe is that because of who he's married to, whatever happens to him, that damage that he would have would be limited because of that.
I mean, it's possible, but I gotta say, like, America is America. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
absolutely.
like, yeah, like especially.
The thing is,
oh, go ahead.
He has the money to get away with stuff like OJ style. Like OJ only got away with it because he had such a great lawyer. Let's just be honest about that. He had the money to dole out. And that's where I see Kanye is at that level where, okay, if he gets in real trouble, he's going to have ridiculous legal representation because of who he's married to.
Oh, hell yes.
You know what I mean? So how much of a fall could he really have with all that money?
That's true. That's true. You know. But at the end of the day, man, I don't know. Like white supremacy is a mother, you know.
Oh yeah. It's a hell of a drug.
Yeah. But the video, like it's I definitely feel like the part with the choir, like that really hit me. And that was like the one moment I was like, ooh. I mean, you went there, and I mean, at the end of the day though, like obviously clearly it was intentionally evocative of Charleston, South Carolina, and you know, Dylan Roof.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be so many papers on this, so many doctoral type of papers. It's gonna be amazing.
Right. But it was not glorifying, clearly, like, you know what I mean? Like he was, you know. But yes, I think you're right, Tony. It's like there's so many viewpoints on like whether or not to have gone there. But I got it artistically, you know. I think I mean, seeing Black pain and death like portrayed on the screen in general, like I'm never great with it, you know. I've spoken before about the few times that I quit Walking Dead the comic before finally quitting it. But like what happened to me, Sean, at the with the governor when she was captured and like, you know, just tortured and everything, that really, I was like, all right, like, you know, screw this, you know, just because, I mean, to me it's kind of like we go through so much, and you know, and clearly if you watch movies and action movies, you're going to see Black people getting hurt or whatever. But like, I mean, I think in the context, in that context, it was jarring. But artistically, I was like, I get what he's doing, and he is literally saying this is America, and he's embodying America. And and you know, in some ways, like I don't think we need to forget the news cycle moves so quickly, you know, that I know for me, the events of what happened in Charleston don't feel like a long time ago, but it's like the moves we forget as a collective culture though very quickly. So I don't know. In some ways, that statement that this is you, this is what you this is a part of you, America, and you can't like forget it because of, you know, whatever crazy thing is going on today.
Or at least Black America can't forget it. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, as much as you can try to push, you know, the narrative and have whoever be the new president of the NRA, you know, you can try to shut up the high school students in Florida. We in the Black and brown community can never forget the gun violence because it happens more often than not. You know, and it's so it's so scaled down in the sense that, you know, if it happens in the streets of Chicago and New York and Baltimore, it's never national news because it happens so much. You know, but you know, something like that happens, you know, in a white area, and it's like, oh my God, let's have that national conversation on gun reform.
Agreed. Notice how whenever he sings "This Is America," the music changes to being kind of sinister,
nefarious,
and it gets a little bit like heavy. Like every single time, he's like, "This is America," and boom, someone gets shot, and it gets really heavy, and it's hard because he's so charismatic. Because I think he's playing America.
Yeah,
in the video. Some people were like, "Oh, he's playing just a black man." I'm like, no, he's embodying everything with America. Even though the pants he's wearing, those are Confederate pants that soldiers from the 1800s wore. I know this. I did my research on Harriet, Tubman, Demon Slayer. I know this shit. But yeah, like
well, yeah, and I don't mean to cut you off, but even juxtaposing those Confederate pants with the, you know, a shirtless black man, I think in some ways also evokes the image of what a lot of people think of a enslaved person. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like embodying those two diametrically opposed realities at the same time.
And meanwhile, at the same time, sort of sexualizing the black man. Definitely. We could go on and on about this, but yes.
Yeah, man, try watching the background of that music video.
Oh, I have.
Yeah. Like, there's a whole bunch of like, I don't know what it means. I can't tell what type of animals they are. It's either two chickens or it's two cats. I don't know what they are. And allegedly there's an actual 800-pound gorilla in the music video, is what I've been told. Like my sister watched it like 40 times, and she's like, "That horse means something from the Bible, and this means that." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "There's an 800-pound gorilla." I was like, "What?" So yeah, there's an 800-pound gorilla, an actual 800-pound gorilla. I'm like, "Holy shit! I need to watch this again." Even though I've seen it like 15 times since it came out, because Donald Glover's I'll never get tired of him because everything he's been putting out, because he hosted one of the best episodes of SNL. And his music video. And I
definitely got to give a shout out to Friendos, the Migos kid.
Oh, that was funny. The Migos go to therapy.
You know what's funny though, because when I was watching this episode of SNL, I was like, I've never seen them use so many of their black characters in the show.
Yeah.
Not even when Chadwick Boseman was on there did they use that many of their black characters.
No, definitely.
Like you can tell Donald had a hand in writing some of those sketches. Yeah. And because some sketches shouldn't have been like that Jurassic Park sketch shouldn't have been like as funny as it was, but he made it hilarious.
He made it very funny,
You know, even Thompson's trying not to laugh, which is because he never breaks character.
Laughing. Yeah, he started laughing. He like lost it because I saw it. He like stopped for a second when Donald went to go sit down and pour himself water and shit. Like you could tell he wanted to bust out laughing. Yeah, you know. And like he's having a crazy week because I don't know if you guys watch Atlanta.
I haven't seen the last episode.
I do. I have to catch up on that. Right after we get off air, I'm going to watch the finale. I saw last week's episode though. I don't know if you saw that one, Tony. Did you see that?
No. I haven't.
Tony, watch it, damn it!
I will. the last one I saw was about what's the crazy guy? What's his name?
Oh, Teddy Perkins.
Teddy Perkins was the last one I watched. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's amazing in and of itself.
Oh yeah, he blew up the internet with that episode too.
Yeah.
Like I think the first episode of season 2, Teddy Perkins, the barbershop episode.
The barbershop. Yo, the barbershop one is so relatable on multiple levels. Just on the barbershop level, but also just getting in a car with that person that's like, oh yeah, we're just gonna it's gonna be a 5-minute ride, you know.
5 hours later.
I'm already on the highway. What are you talking
about? And also, like, I know I'm very particular about who cuts my hair when it comes to barbershops. Like, you know, I don't like explaining too much detail. My barber, he knows the 2 different hairstyles that I'll get. It's either going to be, he's like, skin tight fade. I'm like, skin tight fade. He's like, got it. And that's it. Or it's Caesar edge up. I'm like, yep, Caesar edge up. Got it. When it's a new guy, and you guys have seen the episode when that guy asked me, he's like, okay, what numbers do you want? And he doesn't know what to he doesn't know what to say, because even though that guy Bibby is like crazy, like the dude is crazy disorganized, like a nightmare of disorganization and craziness happening, but like he's like, I gotta deal with this dude because he makes me look fresh. Damn.
And you know, it's funny because you know I cut my own hair, but the time
I wish I had your talent.
I'm not playing. I'm not trying to pay all that money. Really, I just want.
It does add up.
So I've always gone to like Dominican barbers, you know, and it's for me, I don't speak Spanish well, so it's hard to pick one. You know what I mean? Who, if they don't know the language, but you know that they know how to cut your hair, so you just try to be like short, and then they start speaking to you, and just like, man, I hope this dude gets it right. And he did, of course, but it's always the edges are tight and all that stuff. But it's just interesting the difference between like an African American barber and like a Dominican barber. You know what I mean? So I just found it to be extremely funny at the end when he went to a different one and he's just now questioning it so much. That's real.
Yeah, man. Shit is a struggle. Like that was the realest shit.
It was. But you know what's interesting? It's like I think the episodes that we just spoke about, they run the gamut. I mean, Tony, I would definitely won't spoil last week's episode. I will say that it was decidedly not a comedic episode. But it was powerful. And I think that if you look at the various episodes of this show, it's like the barbershop episode was extremely funny. Like I laughed throughout the whole episode. And then that episode, if I'm not mistaken, I think was right before Teddy Perkins, which was like a legit short horror film in some ways, even though it had funny stuff in it. You know what I mean? So it's like that show is just really able to run the gamut of telling like pretty much any kind of story. You know, like they're not really confined to a format.
And I think what it is that after season 1 being so successful and they won that award, I think he was just like, you know what? Now I can push the envelope. Now I can really push the envelope because I have the audience, and I'm always gonna have the audience.
Yeah.
So because I don't think they could on season 2 the way they're doing it, they couldn't have done that in season 1. Because people would have been like, watching. But I think that because they were able to they cemented their ground, they're now able to break new ground. Who knows what season 3 is?
Yeah. And also, in addition to him too, there's also Hiro Murai, like the director, who also collaborated with him on the music video as well. Like,
all of his music videos.
Yeah. No, it's just, and I mean, you definitely gotta give a shout out to the rest of the cast too. You know, I mean, you got Zazie Beetz and Paperboy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Brian T. Henry.
And of course,
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, Lakeith. Like, which that brother is just like, he's blowing up too. He's all over the place. So it's like, they got an incredible just collection of talent there, including Donald Glover's brother. So
Yeah, I really
right on it.
I predict that because of this show, I think their supporting cast will begin to sort of blow up more and more. Because again, not remembering because I'm not good with names, but Paperboy, that actor, I know that he was just recently in as a motorcycle. He was just in a play with Chris Evans.
Yeah. He's in Lobby Hero on Broadway.
Yeah, Lobby Hero on Broadway. Yeah. So it's interesting. I didn't expect to see that from him, but then it just, to me, it shows how serious, obviously, he's taking his craft. Do something like that. But they're all blown up.
Yeah, man. I remember when it was announced, they said Donald Glover's doing a TV show on FX called Atlanta. It's a rap show, and this is when and it was marketed as a comedy when it was announced, and what's it called? This is like when he just left Community. So in my head, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a show where he's the lead, and it's going to be like a loud, goofy show. And he presented it like this is going to be a loud, goofy show like Community, but with rappers. Right. It's going to be a comedic element, an awkward element, what it's like to be a rapper. I thought, oh, Donald Glover's going to be the rapper in it, of course.
Right.
And I had no idea what the show was, and I saw the commercial, and I turned on that first episode. I'm like, oh, this is different.
Definitely.
This is like some new level of shit. And also, proud of him, he didn't tell the people at FX what he was really doing. He just said, I'm doing a comedy.
Right.
And they were like, okay, you've done Community, and Community was a big success, so here's a bunch of money, and go film whatever you need to film, and we trust you, because you've also been very cartoony and fun and family oriented, and you'll be in the Monday time slot for families at 10 p.m. And complete opposite.
And then he ends up winning an award for the best comedy show, and they can't say nothing.
Yeah, like best comedy for the white ass Golden Globes, and best actor. Beating out all these other old white men, and then winning. The first black man to win an Emmy for directing a comedy. And he already had written season 2, and I think they filmed it really fast and got it done. And I don't know what. After watching this last episode, I'm gonna miss the show now. But that season 3, I don't know what it's gonna be, because he said in an interview that he knew what season 2 was gonna be, and he said season 2 is gonna be epic. But he didn't say anything about season 3, so I don't know if
he has a plan. Sure.
Yeah, he better have a plan. I need Atlanta in my life.
Oh, it'll be back.
So, moving on to another topic, but relatable. Preliminary reviews of Solo. Sounds like the movie's actually pretty good. So
yeah, they say Donald Glover stole the movie.
I can't wait.
I believe that. I totally believe. I think we all hoped that would be the case.
Right.
But I totally believe that. But I am looking forward to it. I mean, I feel like every trailer got better as the final trailer.
Great.
So I was kind of skeptical. I mean, I was skeptical with Rogue One too, but this one might be worth a watch. So I will soon grab my tickets to watch on opening night. We'll see. So I'm sure we'll be talking about it in the next coming weeks.
Yes, I was super skeptical of it because they fired. I don't know if you guys.
The creative team.
Yeah. They fired the directors on it last year, and these guys are super creative, super funny. They did the Lego movie, and they did the 21 and 22 Jump Street movies, and they did upcoming Miles Morales Spider-Man movie, and they're considered the most creative and the funniest guys in Hollywood, and they fired them after 7 months of directing this, and they said we're going to redirect 60% of the movie, and we're gonna hire Ron Howard, and we're keeping the release date of Memorial Day. And I said, oh no, this movie's gonna suck now. And I was worried because that dude, Alden Ehrenreich, dude's a great actor, but to me, I'm like, you don't look like Harrison Ford. I don't know. And then the teaser comes out, sounds nothing like Harrison Ford. They don't really do his hair like Harrison Ford, really. But like, I buy him as a guy, and he's super young. And then I'm like, okay, that one shot of Lando is really dope in this teaser. And then we get more footage, and you're right. It got every teaser, every trailer, and then they released a clip of Han meeting Lando. It's them, playing cards, and it is dope. It is well directed. It's well shot, and they both sound a little bit like they're seniors in it. Mm-hmm. But without overdoing it, where it's an impression.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, like it got, like, those clips got me excited, and everyone's been saying it's a fun. It feels like a Star Wars movie, but it's more importantly a heist movie, and it's like a gangster.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like a gangster crime heist movie, and they're now thinking about making. They're thinking about doing a sequel with, I think,
Lando?
With Lando, and also with, what's his name? The freaking, the bounty hunter who dies with, yeah, but with Boba Fett. With Boba Fett now. Or having like something like that in a sequel. So I'm kind of pumped to see that. So
I'm actually very surprised they haven't pursued a Boba Fett movie. I mean, he has such a fandom, and I think they're all waiting for one. I'm just surprised they haven't really announced it.
Well, yeah, they were with Josh Trank, the guy who directed that really bad Fantastic Four movie. He was going to do a Boba Fett movie. Yeah. And I think the folks at Disney saw Fantastic Four.
Like, bro.
Well, he also, I believe, imploded on set. There was some story at the time of some behavior on set that they just were like, later, dude.
Yeah, like this dude, like they gave him like thousands of dollars, and they paid for a condo for him to live in wherever they were filming. It's like $100,000 condo, and dude missed 3 days of filming to get high and trash a condo with his dogs and shit, and then showed up like mad late and was drunk on set and high. And I'm like, well, what are you doing, man? You're getting paid $500,000 to direct a movie. But like, yo, control your demons, control your shit.
Yeah, tighten it up.
Don't fuck up when that mouse is watching. Don't do that shit.
Absolutely.
So, but I've heard that he's gotten his stuff under control recently, and he's directing an Al Capone biography movie with Tom Hardy. But it was just announced today, speaking of Star Wars and solo movies, they're doing an Obi-Wan movie.
I saw that. I don't know how to feel about it.
Is it Ewan McGregor?
I don't know.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor is going to do it, which the dude's been waiting. Like, he's age appropriate now, because it's been like 10 years, over 10 years.
I'm shocked that Ewan McGregor is doing that. He struck me as someone that just was in contract for 3 films, and he was like, I'm out.
Well, he might not say it, but I wonder if, like, he sees the quality level of these films in comparison to the prequels.
Well, let's be real. People can talk about how the prequels suck. They are making money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Money. He's probably still making money off of that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
No, he definitely made money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he makes money, but, like, when you're called in to now act in a movie, this is 6 or 7 months of your life now, and then you have to go on tour, And it's like, oh, and you have to live with these people and this character for like 2-3 years of your life now, and that's an investment. Yes, there's money, but that's like an investment of like yourself emotionally and mentally. So I think they approached him probably before Force Awakens came out, because he did some ADR
voice work. Yeah, he did some
voice work. Mm-hmm. And I think they were speaking to him, and one of the pitches they got him on was, hey, this is going to be a solo movie, and it's going to be Star Wars, but a Western. What do you think? And I think he was cool with it, because now Kathleen Kelly, George Lucas, I respect him, but directing he's kind of lost it a little bit. He's more of a creator now than a director. So now I think they're bringing in more seasoned filmmakers, seasoned writers, and getting raw talent now to tell and continue these stories. So I think this will be a good investment of his time, because he'll be supported by a good script and good directors, and also being surrounded by good actors, because everyone that's been in these movies, they've all been talented people.
Yeah.
You know, like no one has been like, shit, that person's. Well, I think, I love Benicio del Toro, but what the hell was that shit in Last Jedi? But whatever.
See,
I like Space Fenster. He was still Fenster from Usual Suspects.
God. See, my thing is, this better be an amazing script, because basically what you're telling me is that you're doing a whole movie on Tatooine. That is just a planet that is just sand. So
I would hope he went somewhere else, but you're right. Maybe it is.
I mean, he's old enough for me to believe that this is just going to be on Tatooine.
On Tatooine, yeah.
Luke is not going to be there. It's before he ends up running into Darth Maul later on in
Rebels.
So what is it? What story are we really going to see here? So I find it interesting, but man, I hope it's good, because you're going to have to really sell this thing.
Yeah, but look at what we're even talking about. We were just talking about there were doubts about Rogue One, which ended up being really good. And I do feel like whatever, like they do have their finger on the pulse of something, with these films, and even where some things shouldn't have worked, maybe, but they found a way to make it work. So I think it's possible.
Yeah, I think they can make it cool, and I think they can make it. And they know they can't afford to fuck it up. Because Star Wars, that's a hard walk. Like a friend of mine, she's a director. I will not mention the director because this is supposed to be. I'll tell you guys when we're not live. But there was a director that was approached recently to do Star Wars, and this guy, he turned it down. This guy's an incredible filmmaker. He's done every movie he's done has been amazing, and he was really scared of the fandom, because Star Wars is like you can't just show up and be like, all right, action, and some bullshit. It's like, nah, I think they gave Rian Johnson. I like Last Jedi. I like it. I think it's fine. But the super duper uber hardcore Star Wars people,
I thought they were ridiculous. I'm sorry. I feel like they were watching a different movie than I saw.
They were like, yo, Luke Skywalker would never do that shit. And I only got mad about, spoiler alert for Last Jedi, I wanted Rey to be somebody. I wanted Rey to be a clone of Darth Vader. That's just me. I thought it'd be fun. But that was my only issue. But I'm like, okay, this action scene with these red ninjas makes it cool again. That was dope. That was tight. So I think now, because these fans are really intense, because they all expected a certain thing and they got something different, so they were big mad and boycotting it.
After many people got angry that the first one was too much like Star Wars. So it's
it's too much like New Hope.
Exactly. And you know what's going to happen? episode 9 is going to come out, and they're all still going to go and give the movie money. So whatever.
Oh hell yes, they're gonna see it. Like some people, like my friend, I gave him like the super side eye because he was really mad about Last Jedi. He's like, "This is the last time I give my money." I was like, Negro, I'll see you May 25th on Thursday, brother. I'll see you there. Like, I'm not giving my money. I'm like, Negro, you're gonna crack that Saturday, please. It's Star Wars. Star Wars. No one says no to motherfucking Star Wars.
Sure.
Shit,
Sure.
I got mad with X-Men 3, and I'm an X-Men dude, and I'm like, but my ass was there for X-Men Origins, like. I hate those Amazing Spider-Man movies. I hated that first Amazing Spider-Man. I was like, fuck Spider-Man. My ass is done. I only fuck with these comics. But my black ass was there Thursday at 7 p.m. for Amazing Spider-Man 2 to watch Jamie Foxx make a fool out of himself. So,
that one was rough.
We are fans first.
Absolutely.
We love that character no matter what. If they if DC, I don't know what's happening there. Well, DC is a little bit of a tough sell because they've been consistently fucking up. They have one gem.
Did you hate Justice League? Like, I don't think it was the best, but like I actually
it wasn't the worst movie they made.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Like, for me, it's Wonder Woman, Justice League, Man of Steel. Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, because Suicide Squad looked really fun and cool in the trailer, and I got really excited, and I was like, oh, this isn't really funny, and this isn't really fun, but this should be fun, or this can be fun. But like Batman v Superman, it felt like a funeral. And but no, Justice League, like, the only things that I disliked about it was when they tried to make Batman kind of like, you can make Batman hilarious. You can make that character really funny. But it felt like it tried too hard, and it was goofy. And it wasn't really interesting. And I thought that was the best representation of Superman for the DCU that I've seen. I think they should have because Joss Whedon came back and rewrote all of the Superman stuff, and I think Joss Whedon should do that Superman movie personally. And I thought some of the things with Superman were done right for me. I thought the villain was whack, but like it wasn't as it could have been worse. Like it could have been just
the mustache thing with Superman. That got a little distracting because I was looking for it. I was like, oh, he doesn't look right in that shot.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this face filter shit? What is this Instagram face filter shit?
Filter. Oh my God.
That was mad money. No, I think somebody was painstakingly, digitally repainting each frame. Like it was nuts. Which is trash, because I've seen like 5 Marvel movies where they take a motherfucker who is 60 and they make his ass look like he is 21, like it's nothing. I think they're about to do that with Sam Jackson, probably.
Yeah, they're doing it right now with Sam Jackson, because motherfucking Captain Marvel takes place in like 1996, and they gave his ass, they sprayed a damn shape up on his bald head, and
it's true.
And they put dots. I don't know if you guys have seen like the behind the scenes photos. They put these sensory CGI dots to like color some of the lines on his face, so he looks like he's in his like 30s.
But let's be real. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
The Marvel has the benefit of being owned again by the mouse, which owns Lucasfilm, which they can do all that stuff. You know, I don't think Warner Brothers can even do that. I mean, I'm sure they could sort of pay Lucasfilm to do that, but I don't know.
But I'm like, but it's like y'all still got money though.
That's true.
It's like
You're right.
y'all still got money. Y'all like Warner Brothers. I mean, they're also I think associated with New Line Cinema and shit. I'm like, yo, y'all make Planet of the Apes movies and shit. If you can make monkeys and shit and make Lord of the Rings and all that other shit, you can erase a dude's mustache and make it look seamless. Like I was watching Civil War in theaters and I screamed because I'm like, oh shit, that's Robert Downey Jr. when he was like 19.
Yep.
And that shit was seamless, you know? And like and they keep getting better. They keep they really care about the process of their stuff. Like there was a colleague of mine who she's in Black Panther. She played one of the Dora Milajes from in the flashback in the 90s. And I was like, yo, girl, well, what was that set like? And they said, listen, there is no bullshit. It's $150 million, and they don't waste time. Like, Ryan Coogler was on set, and they said, Ryan, you have like 8 minutes to get this shot. And Ryan Coogler, credit to him, he was on top of his shit, and he would get it. And they spend months like making sure that script is tight, or if it's not tight, they all go into a room and they work that shit out for a weekend, making sure the shit is dope or making sure that it's funny. Like I think they had to. There's like a Civil War story where they hadn't cast the dude that's playing Spider-Man yet, and they had to rewrite the Peter Parker stuff, and they had just cast Tom Holland. So I think the writers all got together and they said, okay, we have to find a way for him to say, with great power comes great responsibility, without saying that shit.
Right. And they did.
Like we are not leaving this room until we come out with a way that he can say that shit, because they're filming this on Tuesday. So let's like the Beatles come together right now and work on this shit. And like they're really process oriented. And these guys are fans. Like DC, I feel like it's all done by committee.
I think that's a key factor is like the Marvel films and Star Wars, even with what we were talking about before, are made by fans, like people who grew up loving this stuff.
Yeah, it's made by fans and filmmakers.
Right.
Like
I guess that's even more important.
Yeah, they have a great like that Daredevil movie from 2003 that came out with Ben Affleck. That guy is strictly a fan of Daredevil. He really loved Daredevil. I'm not crazy about films he's directed, but they got a fan. You know, I think with Spider-Man and Sam Raimi, that was one of the first where they got a mixture of a guy that is a fan and a dude that's directed some pretty dope horror movies.
Yeah.
Right. So, with the little time that we have left, I kind of want to just go into the next chapter of Marvel.
Yes.
We've seen Infinity War. Does this make you want to see Ant-Man and the Wasp even that much more?
Hell yes. After watching Avengers 3 Red Wedding,
accurate,
and like watching my favorites, you know, get executionized, you know, on the big screen. Like, my ass needs some lightheartedness, and you know they're gonna tie that in. You know, like they're gonna probably like there's gonna be an end credit scene where, you know, Ant-Man's hanging out with his daughter and she's gonna like disappear in some shit.
Oh, that would be some heart-wrenching stuff.
Oh yeah,
no,
man.
I mean, we already know that Wasp and Ant-Man are in the next movie, so you know they're obviously are not disappearing. So somebody got to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. like he's already confirmed to be in Avengers 4, so I know that they're gonna do.
So it's Hawkeye.
Yeah, well, they said Hawkeye's confirmed to be in it, and yeah, Hawkeye's confirmed to be in it. Ant-Man's confirmed to be in it. So
Marvel, yeah, I mean, it's going to be
and
insane.
Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is going to have a big part in it.
It's gonna be insane.
So they're going to find something, and I think it's healthy for us to have like a palate cleanser.
Absolutely. I didn't really want to see this Ant-Man film, but I'm going to now. I'm strictly there for the end credit scene. So,
Right.
Well, dude, they stepped up their game with the action, though. It looks like
they did, yes.
like that whole car scene with the Wasp, like fucking up those dudes and shrinking, and like on some Deadpool shit.
Yeah, I think she's gonna make the movie. I think she's probably gonna steal the show, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I think that she's going to. I think that because I think Ant-Man's kind of like he's been kind of nice and bumbling, but I think she's gonna be like, no, this is some serious shit,
right.
And it's still gonna be goofy, but like it's goofy that she shoots this salt thing and it grows to like a 6 foot tall salt shaker thing. But this dude runs into it and like she like fucks up this dude's face with it. I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of funny. but damn, this is also hardcore.
Right,
I'm looking forward to the visuals of those action scenes because I know I can already tell. I'm like, yeah, this is well choreographed.
Awesome.
And I watched that whole sequence. It's like 8 seconds of her flying into the car, shrinking. And then like just fucking up these dudes, and it's well choreographed, man. And it's like funny, but it looks like it hurts and it's brutal. So yeah, you're right. She's going to make that movie.
Right, and also one last thing, Deadpool 2 looks actually kind of amazing. Apparently, and I think I read this that Rob Liefeld cried during the movie.
Yeah,
and not necessarily tears of happiness. I mean, tears of joy, of course, not tears of sadness. But I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah, man. Like, I think the guy, it's a different director, but the guy who directed it said like, yo, Ryan Reynolds like brought it with this performance of it being. I know there's lots of jokes and wittiness, but at the heart of this story, it's about a guy who fell in love with this girl. And he got sick. He tried to help himself because he's in love with this woman and he wants to stay with her. And things don't go right. He gets screwed over, and it circles back to him meeting the love of his life. And they used that emotional tie-in with that. And it looks like from these teasers and from the trailer, they're trying to have kids, and it's really about how children can give you hope. I don't have kids, but like it's going from a parental point of view. And I know Rob Liefeld has like 4 kids, and he's a big family man. So yeah, I could see him cry, not just because he's like, I made so much money from this. I don't think
this is gonna look so good in my bank account.
He's like, I can afford all the tuition for these motherfucking
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
The dude, he's really like awesome, sensitive guy. So I think he, genuinely, because he knew he was set. He knew he was set when that first Deadpool came out. He knew he was gonna like be getting royalties and getting money, and sadly, we're not getting a Donald Glover animated Deadpool, because Ryan Reynolds doesn't want just anybody playing that, so we don't get to.
What was that?
I think it was really interesting because they said they were doing this and we all got excited, and then it was revealed that Donald Glover was going to be doing the voice of Deadpool, And then there was like, I didn't hear about Deadpool for a while. And then, Ryan Reynolds signs like a deal with Fox. And I think Ryan Reynolds like made a call. Like, because there's rumors that they canceled it because it's first off, it's really expensive to do animation. I've tried it. And in the show, they were making fun of Taylor Swift and making fun of, they made fun of white women a lot. And Fox was scared about them making fun of Taylor Swift and Jennifer Lawrence, especially Jennifer Lawrence, who they made fun of a lot on the show. So they canceled it because of that. So, but I'm like, nah. I'm like, Jennifer Lawrence can handle a joke. Taylor Swift, whatever, she can cry about. No one cares.
Remember, we talked about white women tears. So remember that.
Yeah, white women tears. Don't make white women cry. Unless it's an awesome rap song you wrote. But I just think Ryan Reynolds, like the reason why Deadpool is where he is because of Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds' performance, and they had a dope movie. And Ryan Reynolds has been like the face of everything Deadpool. So I think he just didn't want someone else being the face of Deadpool and getting it kind of like confused. And I think Ryan Reynolds I don't think he wanted to be creatively involved with like writing. I think he just wanted to be the voice of the animated show, which he could have easily done. He can just record it in a month and be done. So it's not, and he loves playing the character. Like I think Ryan Reynolds is going to be doing, like that brother is going to do Deadpool movies and the Hitman's Bodyguard sequels forever now. like they're doing a sequel to the Hitman's Bodyguard. It's called The Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
With Gabrielle Jackson. Like he's going to be making those movies for the rest of his life. Because they've made him money and they've gotten critical success as well. So, like, yeah, he just didn't want Donald Glover taking over. That's it. It was a power move.
Wow.
Right. So I think we might be over time. So I'll let Marcus do this thing.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess David, where can people find you, and I guess what can they look for next from you and from the series?
Yeah, you can, if you want to buy the comic digitally, you can go to comixology.com and get it, or if you want to have a physical copy, you can order it and it can be shipped to you on peakgamecomics.com. You can like Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer on Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's D Crownson is my handle. I'm doing another comic book, which is a horror comic book about a girl who is coming out to her parents and she's gay, but all of a sudden there's a crazy alien invasion in her apartment complex. It's called Nightmare in Newark. And it's a horror comedy thing that's kind of like Shaun of the Dead, but with black people. And I think it's very funny. That'll probably come out Thanksgiving of 2019. And issue 3 of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer should be coming out probably by the end of this summer, depending on Anthony Piper's schedule. So that's that. And there's going to be 13 issues of Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer.
Awesome.
Cool. And can we expect possibly seeing it in another medium in the future?
Maybe, hopefully.
Okay, cool. Well, Tony, I actually wanted to mention that you had an article out this week.
Oh yes, I wrote an article, just a little tiny article for Nerds of Prey.
Awesome.
Discussing the lack of Latinos in Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2. I pretty much discussed how Poe Dameron is not a player character, although you can play his ship. So I would say go ahead to the Nerds of Prey website. Follow them as well. You'll see. I think I'm the article that came out on Monday. So check that out. I don't write often about gaming, so this is a first for me, and I enjoyed it.
Cool.
I'll check it. Everyone, I'll check it out too.
Yeah, no doubt. And and I besides that, as always, pick up Puerto Rico Strong, which Tony's also got a story in.
That's right. Just remember that all proceeds go to disaster relief in Puerto Rico. There's still a lot of problems going on in the island right now.
Yes,
there are a lot of protests. I think people have just gotten really tired of just all the shit that's going on there. So I think last week there were some protests that basically sparked some police presence. People were sprayed with not pepper spray, the other stuff, tear gas, actual tear gas.
Jesus.
And it was, it's terrible. So please, I mean, obviously, buying Puerto Rico Strong is just a tiny thing that you can do. I mean, it's not going to solve everything, but the money does go directly to Puerto Rico. So please check that out. Also, you can find me on Twitter as Latin Negro and Instagram and Facebook. Check those out. I'm actually in process of updating my website to anthonyotero.com. So hopefully I'll start writing blogs again. So
all right, cool. I know we've definitely had interest in that from the community. So
absolutely. And Marcus, where can they find you?
You can find me at marcuskwame.com and at Marcus Kwame on Twitter. I'm kind of have a singular creative focus right now because I'm working hard on finishing the illustrations for Cash and Carry Book 2, and then later this year I'll be finishing Snow Days issue 2. So but just check out the site and check out my Twitter for updates.
Yes, and please check out Snow Days. Snow Days is a very good book, and also check out Cash and Carry. So please do that.
All right, cool.
Awesome. Dopeness.
Well,
all right,
David,
man.
It was really good having you on, man. Thank you.
Yes, it was. Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And good luck with all your stuff and keep my black ass updated with everything you're doing.
Awesome. We'll keep us updated as well.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be back to keep us updated on your work.
Awesome, man. Happy too.
All right, cool.
Awesome.
Right.
Have a good night, y'all.
Yeah, good night.
Good night.